If you've watched the news,
the dangers of bringing home exotic animals.
Parents should choose their child's new pet carefully.
Or listen to certain special interest groups, there's a likelihood that you've heard exotic pets are dangerous. And with such a huge diversity of species being kept as pets, this isn't really much of a surprise. Obviously, some exotic pets can present some level of danger, but which ones? And how do we even define what is considered to be dangerous? Let's start with what should be the most obvious: animals that can kill humans. This, of course, is what separates exotic pets from pets that are traditional or not so exotic, or perhaps not. What are some examples of non-exotic animals that people care for? Horses, dogs, cows, and even pigs are all animals that are traditionally cared for in Western societies, and they've all killed humans before. What about other common pets, like house cats, hamsters, chickens, and even goldfish? As far as we know, these species haven't killed any people, so this shows that traditional pets are indeed safer, correct? The thing is, exotic pets that are about the equivalent size have also caused no human fatalities. For example, domesticated cats haven't killed, but neither have small exotic cats like Asian leopard cats, or even bigger cats like servals. Disease transmission aside, small rodents, exotic or not, are just not large enough to seriously injure humans. So there is a trend developing here. Perhaps size, instead of degree of exoticness, or so-called domestication, is what really matters when it comes to how dangerous an animal is. But wait, there are more factors to address. It is notable that there are far more traditionally owned pets in the world, and of course, the more animals present, the higher the chance that someone will be injured. For instance, there are approximately 30 to 50 people killed by domesticated dogs each year in the United States, and substantially less people killed by captive wolves or wolf dogs per year, around 0 to 1. In 2017, there were over 80 million dogs in the United States, and presumably a drastically smaller number of wolves and wolf dogs. Therefore, this obscures the true danger of wolves, right? Well, wolves are not pets for most prospective canid owners, and most breeders and owners consider them to have traits that make them quite a challenge. With this being said, let's go back to our aforementioned point: size. All wolves and high-content wolf dogs are very large animals. Dogs, on the other hand, come in a huge variety of sizes, some the size of rabbits. In fact, the vast majority of dogs owned in the United States are under 40 pounds. Therefore, while we're not saying that a pet wolf has equivalent risk to a typical golden retriever, most dogs, by size alone, present significantly less risk to humans. Here's another extremely important fact to consider: how animals are traditionally cared for. What is meant by this is the safety precautions people tend to take around certain pets. As tigers are obviously dangerous and can easily kill humans, people who own tigers responsibly will not treat them like they are a domesticated dog. Big cats should have a solid confinement with perimeter fencing. They are often kept on property that is far away from heavily populated areas, and if the owner is interacting with them, there should be protocols of diffusing an attack in place. We know that if most people were like Antoine Yates, the guy who kept a tiger in his Harlem housing complex, keeping a big cat would be substantially more risky. A lot more precautions are required with various exotic animals compared to many domestic animals. Many of the fatalities attributed to horses, for example, are caused by people riding them, while there are different risks involved with exotic ungulates when interacting with them. All in all, while different factors are involved, larger animals all have some degree of danger. So which exotic pets can be considered dangerous relative to other animals? Large carnivores are the obvious choice. Big cats of the genus Panthera, all bears, and larger species of hyenas. Things get more complicated when considering wolves and wolf dogs, as these animals, unlike lions and tigers, are generally considered safe enough to interact with directly, with the right training. This is also true of cheetahs and bigger cats like clouded leopards. Then there's reptiles. Many venomous snakes clearly pose a threat to inexperienced handlers, and with some, one bite can even be fatal. What about large reptiles like alligators, giant constrictor snakes, and monitor lizards? While these creatures are scary to many, and they certainly demand respect, some of these species are actually more commonly owned than exotic mammals, yet fatalities are relatively rare. In fact, there's about 0 to 1 deaths per year in the United States from non-venomous pet reptiles due to bites and attacks. Injuries are undocumented, but can be presumed to occur relatively often. These animals can be considered to be dangerous, but only in a sense that one is required to care for one and handle them appropriately for desirable outcomes. There are a few medium-sized animals that should be mentioned here that, despite their reasonable size, anecdotally pose a higher threat of severe injury to their owners. We haven't heard of any reported fatalities, but hospitalizations from bites unfortunately seem to occur consistently. Jaunids are animals in the raccoon family, and many of the animals in this family have reports of being prone to unprovoked attacks. This includes kinkajous, coatis, and raccoons. Then there's primates. Across all the primate species, there seems to be one thing they have in common. Primates act wonderful when they are younger, but can be prone to biting upon sexual maturity. This seems to occur often towards strangers that they may become jealous of. Foxes can be bitey, depending on the amount of socialization they've received, although their bites may not be as bad as Jaunids. And be aware that bites from any cat, domesticated or not, almost always warrant a hospital visit, due to the heavy amount of bacteria they possess on their sharp teeth. Always be aware of the danger present with whatever species you are working with, and do not trust larger animals around small children. With the right education, animals of any kind don't have to cause injurious or fatal incidents, and we can stop generalizing exotic animals as dangerous simply because less people own them.